Hi there, welcome back. So today I wanted to talk about, since Christmas was only a few weeks ago, I wanted to talk about the one Christmas themed race that I've done so far, which was the Jingle Bell Half Marathon in Atkinson, New Hampshire. It was put on by a company called Loco Races. They seem to be a New England-based company. A lot of their races are in Massachusetts and New Hampshire. There are a few that they do in Vermont and Maine. And it looks like they've even branched out. I was just looking at their website, and they're doing some stuff in South Carolina. It looked like there was a race in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and even Albany, New York. So, also the way it looks, it seems they may have changed the base for where the Jingle Bell Half Marathon is. I'm not sure, but it had it as Haverhill, Massachusetts, which, when I did run it, when we went out there, we had to pass through Haverhill to get to Atkinson. Haverhill's right on the border of New Hampshire, and Atkinson's right on the other side. So, unless they've changed things a little bit, I don't know, but I did end up, because that was one of the interesting things with that race was you actually did cross the state line into into Massachusetts for a little bit, but the majority of it was in New Hampshire. So I don't know if there's something going on, and now they're basing it more in Haverhill versus in Atkinson, but but it was a very fun race that I recall. Got there, and it was a golf course, a golf club was where the race started from. And you went down through the town a little bit, and then, like I said, you end up going out of the town, cross over into Massachusetts it didn't seem like it was for very long. I didn't even know that I remember reading that you crossed into Massachusetts, but I don't think there was any indication that you were in Massachusetts versus being in New Hampshire. The one other pretty cool, well, for me, kind of funny thing was in this stretch where you were in Massachusetts, you were on Crystal Lake Lane or Street or whatever, because it just so happened that there was a Crystal Lake right there. So, and I think I had seen the street sign and thought, that's kind of funny, and then I saw afterwards, looking at my Strava map, that it was in fact Crystal Lake. And for any horror fans out there, that, of course, would be where Jason Voorhees camped Crystal Lake. So, I just, as a horror fan, it was kind of funny running a Christmas race, and running by Crystal Lake, and kind of like, oh, did Jason come out? No. But, yeah, it was a lot of fun. There was another race where people were encouraged to dress up, so there were a lot of people dressed as elves, as Santa Claus, Mrs. Claus, some reindeer, snowmen, all kinds of winter-themed, Christmas-themed costumes going on. So that was a lot of fun. It's a half marathon and I believe a 5K. There may be a 10K, but I think it's just a half and a 5K. So, yeah, and because it was Christmas time, everything in the club was all decorated for Christmas, so that was kind of cool seeing that. Uh, the only thing was, it is mid-December and in New Hampshire, so it was pretty chilly. So I was fully decked out with all kinds of layers to stay warm. And the start line, they had Christmas music, of course, playing at the start line. So I had my own, Aftershocks music playing. So I heard the Christmas kind of over that a little bit, so that was interesting. But yeah, I very much recommend it. That was my only Loco Races experience that I've had, but it was a very good experience. So I can recommend doing any of their series. They're, I think, fairly similar to You Can Run, with kind of the drinking atmosphere a little bit, with some of the gear that you can get. But the only thing was, they don't do like You Can Run or some of the others, where they do the special challenges through the year for the series. So you don't get any, as far as I know, you don't get any special thing at the end of the year like, oh, you did all the races, so here, have this special jacket or t-shirt or whatever. But it was a lot of fun. Fairly small group doing it. I remember being with fairly grouped up to begin with, and then of course as time went along, kind of out on my own for the most part. But yeah, the only thing was, you start and end, of course, in the same spot, so it's kind of a long driveway downhill going away from the club, and then of course when you're coming back for the end, it's all uphill. So I remember distinctly being a bit tired out coming back up that hill, but it was still a lot of fun. And I think they had a special like little kind of party going on after the race, so that was a lot. There were a lot of people in the finish area that they had, of course, trying to get warm, trying to get changed in the bathrooms so that they weren't so sweaty and cold. Yeah, it was that. That was a very good end to, I believe that was 2018. Yes, 2018. So that was my last race of that year, and it was a good race to end on, I think. So, yeah. And again, Christmas themed, so if you're a big Christmas person and you're a runner, definitely one to look into if you're in the Northeast area. And also, if you're, like me and trying to do a race in each of the states, that would be a good one to get done for New Hampshire, unless they've now switched it to Haverhill, Massachusetts, in which case, yeah, Massachusetts. So, yeah. And it had a nice little medal, too, with the jingle bells and the wreath on it. So, yeah. Very good race. Definitely recommend that. And Loco Races, if you can get into any of those races in the future, when we can, race in person again. So, with that, I'm done for this week. Trying to think of a few more races to talk about. I'll do another one maybe next week. I'm also trying to think of other things to talk about. For For instance, I just ran a full marathon distance on the indoor track of the gym where I work, so I might talk about that next week, because that was a rather interesting experience, honestly. So yeah, I'll either talk about that or think of another race that I haven't talked about yet that I can talk about. So with that out of the way, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. Links to Patreon are in the description. And until next time, remember, we're in it for the long run. Peace and love.